She asked for her ex as a birthday gift, so I gave her freedom instead. I was washing dishes when she said it. Only, casually, as if she were asking for flowers. Mark, she said, drying her hands on a towel, I want a one-night stand with my ex for my birthday. If you can't take it, then maybe you should leave. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard her. The clink of a plate, the running tap, the hum of the refrigerator. All of it blurred into a quiet, suffocating buzz. What did you just say? I asked, turning slowly. Her expression was almost bored. You heard me. It's just one night. Doesn't mean anything. It's something I've been thinking about for a while. I stared at her, my wife of 7 years, and tried to process the insanity spilling from her lips. You want to sleep with your ex? As a gift? Don't make it sound so cheap, she said, her tone sharp now. I've been honest about my feelings. You always said honesty matters most, right? The honesty sliced through me like a knife. We'd been married for 7 years, together for almost 10. I thought we were solid. We'd weathered financial struggles, job changes, the loss of her mother, things that either break a couple or bind them tighter. I thought we were the latter. Apparently I was wrong. Her name was Claire, and she'd always been the kind of woman who said what she wanted. Confident, outspoken, passionate. I'd admired that about her once. But now, that same confidence felt like arrogance, a selfishness she had mistaken for self-awareness. Why him? I asked quietly. Because he's the one thing I never got closure on, she said. It's been 10 years, Mark. I just need to see what it feels like. To put it to rest. Closure. She was talking about closure in bed. I let out a hollow laugh. You think sleeping with your ex is going to give you closure? That's not closure, Claire. That's betrayal. Her jaw tightened. Don't be dramatic. I love you, but I also believe in being honest about what I need. I'm not sneaking behind your back. I'm asking for your permission. I leaned on the counter, gripping the edge until my knuckles turned white. Permission to destroy everything we've built. Don't twist my words, she said. This isn't about you. It's about me figuring myself out. If you can't handle that, maybe you're not the man I thought you were. That line, maybe you're not the man I thought you were, echoed in my skull long after she'd left the kitchen. That night I barely slept. I lay beside her, listening to her slow breathing, wondering if she was already imagining being with him. The ex she'd told me once was toxic but unforgettable. His name was Ethan. I'd seen pictures of him once. Tall, athletic, smug. The kind of man who thrived on chaos. And now she wanted to invite that chaos back into her life, and mine. At 3 a.m. I went to the living room and sat on the couch. My hands trembled, my chest felt tight. I'd always thought betrayal was something that happened to other people. Something you read about or saw in movies. Not something that began in a quiet kitchen on an ordinary Tuesday. By dawn I'd made my decision. The next morning I made her coffee. Black, just the way she liked it. She came down the stairs wearing her robe, humming softly as if nothing had happened. Morning, she said, smiling faintly. I slid the mug toward her. I thought about what you said last night. She raised an eyebrow. And I think you should do it, I said. Her eyes flickered, confused. You're serious? Yes, I said calmly. You should have your night. Your closure. Your birthday wish. She looked relieved, almost triumphant. I knew you'd understand. I just need to experience it and move on. I smiled, the kind of smile you give before stepping off a cliff. Of course. Everyone deserves to find what they're looking for. What she didn't know was that while she was speaking, I'd already packed a bag. I'd already contacted my lawyer. I'd already made peace with walking away from the ashes of what we once were. Her birthday came 2 days later. She dressed up that evening. Silver heels, black dress, lipstick she hadn't worn in months. She said she was going out for a while. I won't be late, she said, avoiding my eyes. I know, I said softly. You'll be right on time. As she walked out, I watched from the window. Her car pulled away, taillights fading into the dusk. I waited a few minutes, then picked up my keys, locked the front door for the last time and left. I drove to a small motel an hour away, checked in under a false name and turned off my phone. I didn't want to see the messages that would come later, if she even bothered sending them. In that silence, I thought about everything. Our first date, our late-night walks, the laughter we used to share. I thought about how love turns, how it decays, not always from fights or distance, but from tiny cracks of selfishness that widen over time. I wasn't perfect, but I had been loyal. I had loved her. Not just the beautiful parts but the broken ones too. And she'd traded that for a night of closure. When I finally turned my phone back on the next morning, there were 3 missed calls and 1 message. "Mark, where are you? We need to talk. Please." I think I made a mistake. Course she did. But by then I was already gone. I had driven to my brother's place in another city. I called my lawyer and begun filing for divorce. And when she tried to call again, I let it ring until it stopped. For years I'd been the man who stayed. The man who forgave, who compromised, who believed love could survive anything. But that night taught me something painful and freeing. Love doesn't survive deliberate betrayal. Some choices break everything beyond repair. Weeks passed. Claire sent messages that shifted from guilt to anger to desperation. "You're being childish, Mark. You can't just throw away everything over one night." I didn't even enjoy it. I just needed to know. "Please come home." I never replied. Friends who knew us both tried to mediate. They said she was just lost, that I should talk to her. But they hadn't looked into her eyes when she said she wanted her ex as a gift. They hadn't heard the indifference in her voice. Sometimes the cruelest betrayals aren't the ones done in secret. They're the ones done right in front of you with a calm smile. One afternoon about a month later, I saw her by accident. At a cafe downtown. She looked smaller somehow. Thinner. She spotted me, froze, then approached slowly. "Mark," she said softly. "Can we talk?" I didn't move. Didn't stand up. "Talk about what?" "I made a mistake," she said, tears welling. "It didn't mean what I thought it would. It just made me realize how much I loved you." I took a deep breath. "You don't get to rediscover love after you've burned it to the ground, Claire." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "Please," she whispered. I was confused. I thought closure meant peace, but it just left me empty. I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just clarity. "Closure," I said quietly. "You found it. I'm glad you did. Because I found mine too." Then I stood and walked out, leaving her behind, just as she'd told me to that night in the kitchen. It's been a year now. The divorce went through quietly. I sold the house, moved to a smaller apartment by the coast, and started over. Life is quieter now, lonelier at times but honest. I've learned to cook for one, to sleep without waiting for the sound of someone else breathing beside me. Sometimes I still think about her, not with anger but with a strange gratitude. Because that night when she asked for another man as her gift, she gave me something unexpected too. Freedom. The kind that comes when you finally stop trying to hold on to someone who's already let go. A friend once asked me if I'd ever forgive her. "I already have," I said. But forgiveness doesn't mean return. And maybe that's the hardest truth about betrayal. It doesn't always end with a scream or a slammed door. Sometimes it ends with silence. With a man quietly leaving while the woman he loves goes chasing ghosts. She wanted a night with her past. I gave her the rest of her life to live with it. And I never turned back.